Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I'm excited that you chose to hang out with me yet another Wednesday with Wisdom on Wednesday, and I'm Ray. I want to thank you all for participating, for commenting, for sharing, for liking the page, for subscribing to the page. I appreciate all the work that we're doing together so we can continue to grow our channel. So today, as usual, spent some time really reflecting, spent some time really doing some soul searching. And I wanted to share this with you today. Wise people, we have to be about the business of taking the limits off. We have to be about the business, if we want to be wise, to take the limits off. You see, when you put limits and you put caps on things, you never really find out what the full potential can be. I remember there was a time where I was in science class, and it was one of my most favorite classes because I appreciate learning when you add certain elements, what is the reaction? And I had a real simple experiment early on that we put vinegar and Alka-Seltzer together, and it fizzed. But I had one teacher that said, have you ever considered adding the Alka-Seltzer, adding the vinegar, and then putting a top on it? And I said no, because I felt like it was too much combustion going on inside that container, inside that bottle, that so much combustion was going on inside that container that it would blow the cap off. And he said, exactly. He said, that's one of the lessons that you're going to learn as a young person, but it can take you forever. Unfortunately, many of us are afraid of the things that we've been through and the reaction that it has caused on the inside of us. And we have put limits on our potential. We have put limits on every aspect of our life because we're referencing some point in our past that hurt us, or referencing some person from our past who didn't allow us to be our best self. You see what happens when you take ingredients from your past and you try to add them to your present, or even look forward to your future. There's a reaction going on inside of you. But ultimately, if we never take the limits off, that reaction can turn into anxiety. That reaction can turn into PTSD. That reaction on the inside can make you sit and stay longer than you should, because what you're doing is the reaction doesn't have an opportunity to fully develop because the cap is on. So what areas do you believe we need to start taking the limits off? I know we need to start taking limits off of our dreams. Far too often we have dreams, goals, aspirations, things that we daydream about, and it brings a smile to our face. But immediately, as soon as we get done daydreaming, reality smacks us in the face, and now we're disappointed because our dream came and we don't see how it's going to come to pass. Take the limits off. See, often we don't look at the dream not being possible. Unfortunately, we look at the lack of possibility within us. We start tearing ourselves down and looking at the things that we think we can't accomplish, and it kills our dreams. We often accuse other people of being dream killers, but I got a question to ask you. How many of your dreams have you aborted? How many of your dreams have you put limits on it because you felt like you were too old, because you felt like your back was hurting, your knees was hurting, your ankles was hurting? So you put limits on yourself because of the things that you believe you can't do. Take the limits off. Sometimes we have limits on our relationships. We got to take the limits off. You may be in one of the best relationships you've ever been in your whole life, but you've had some poor experiences in your past, and now you can't be your full self in this current relationship because some bozo didn't take care of you properly from your past. Take the limits off. You can't be afraid of your current because your past was horrible. You have to take the limits off and trust who you're currently with. Trust the process to make certain that you're still growing, you're still learning, and that person is still growing and they're still learning. It's not fair to them if they have to be the person who takes the blame, that takes the brunt of all your anger because of how someone else mistreated you. Take the limits off in your relationships. Sometimes you have some great people in your life, but people have manipulated you. People have used you. People didn't show you your worth or show you your value in your past. So now you have a guard around your heart. You have a guard around your mind. You have a guard around your trust because you don't want to be hurt again. And that's very human. I completely understand. But as long as you have a guard around your heart, as long as you have a guard around your mind, you're never, ever going to come to the space of having an authentic relationship because you're still suffering from a relationship that's in your past. Take the limits off. And taking the limits off, you have to take things out of your mind, out of your psyche, the stories that you tell yourself, out of your mind, out of your regular conversation. Understand this, friend. The narrative that you tell yourself will be the narrative that you will live. Every day, if you keep telling yourself you can't, you won't. Every day when you tell yourself you're too old, you are. Every day you say you don't have enough money, you don't. But as long as you recognize I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, realize I don't need enough money as long as I've got God. It doesn't matter how old I am. He gave me the dream in my old age. And since he gave me the dream in my old age, he's going to give me what I need to make it happen. I got to learn to take the limits off. Stop telling myself I can't. Start telling myself that I can. Stop telling myself that I'm too old. Start telling yourself that I'm just the oldest I've ever been. I'm young at heart. My knees may be aching, my back may be hurting, but my heart is young. My smile is young. I'm going to be exactly who God called me to be in this season of my life. Take the limits off. And we have to start making certain that we take the limits off in every aspect of our life, all of our relationships, all of our dreams, all of our aspirations. As long as you keep a cap on your life, you'll always have a story and a t-shirt. Wish I woulda, coulda, but you never tried. If you never try, you're just going to stand still wondering what would have happened if I would have tried. Wondering what would have happened if I would have took the limits off. Wondering what would this relationship have to materialize into if I would just tried a little bit harder. Take the limits off. You see, friend, some of us have limits in place because it's a protective mechanism. It's put there so that we don't get wounded again. It's put there so we don't get hurt again. It's put there so we don't be embarrassed again. It's put there so we don't look like a fool again. You understand? You see where we're going? Again, you've got a limit on your life, your past. Your past is your limit. Your circumstances are your limit. But I want to encourage you today. Those things from your past didn't kill you. Those things from your past, they only scarred you. But now since you've been scarred, you're stronger, you're better, you're faster. Because now you know what not to do. You know what relationships not to get entangled with. You know what type of people that are manipulators. You can see them coming now. So don't hang your head low because somebody suckered you or bamboozled you, but you just learn what to look for now. You know exactly what a leopard looks like because you see them by their spots. So you don't have to feel slighted or feel like I can't try because I'm afraid to fail. I'm not going to speak my dreams in front of people because they're dream killers. The only one that can kill your dream is you. The only one that can make you not succeed is you, especially if you never try. So we've got to learn to take the limits off. Last story for you, and I'll leave you alone. That we have to take the limits off of people trying to give us advice, people trying to help us and make us better. I remember when I was on the job and I had a consultant helping me learn the HR department. And she was one of those people who, when she responded to your email, she didn't reply to your email, but she just sent a separate email. Yeah, that was real different. So I had sent her some emails this particular morning. And you know, sometimes you put people's personality in font. So their response, you're hearing it in their voice. Have you ever done that before? Somebody writes you a text, somebody writes you an email, and you read it in their voice. So I read this email from her and it said, read your emails. And I was instantly upset. I was instantly irritated. So I sent a text as fast as I could. We need to talk. So she couldn't speak to me right then, but she could speak to me later on in the day. So when we had the scheduled call coming up, I pulled the email back up so I can get fire hot again. And I can just let her know how I felt. That you're going to tell me to read my emails. I'm a grown man. I read my emails all the time. So I was all the way in my feelings, upset about this. So before our phone call connected, I read the email one more time. Did you hear me say it? I read the email one more time. She didn't tell me to read my emails. She said, read your emails. She was only affirming me that she had read what I had sent. But because I put her personality into the text, I put her personality into the font, and I heard something, read something that wasn't there because I had a cap on. I had limits on that nobody could tell me anything. So when I couldn't be told anything, I was instantly offended. Anytime somebody tried to make me better, I felt like they were attacking my character. Take the limits off, wise people. Sometimes the best learning is when people hurt your feelings. Sometimes the best advice are the people that are going to tell you the truth. So she and we laughed on the phone for a very long time. And this is the advice she gave me. She says, make certain, even if somebody tells you to read your emails, read your emails. Even if somebody said they read your emails, read your emails. Because all you have is what you write. And people have the opportunity to make an entire determination on who you are based on your communication skills. So wise friend, take the limit off. Be able to articulate and share your heart without being upset. Take the limits off. Be able to hear information, hear critique without being upset and ruining a relationship with somebody who's just trying to make your career better, make your life better. If your pastor is speaking to you, helping your Christian walk be better. Just because somebody's sharing feedback with you doesn't mean that they hate you. Doesn't mean that they're hurting you. It doesn't mean that they can't love you. But ultimately, we've got to take the limits off and let people in. Let people in to make us better. Let people in to advise us. Let people in to help us understand that if you're my real friend, I need you to tell me if I got a booger in my nose. I may be embarrassed for a second, but I'm not walking around all day thinking I'm fly with a booger peeking peekaboo in and out my nose. That's my word for today, friends. And I pray you have a wonderful week and a blessed day. This is Ray with Wisdom on Wednesday. Take the limits off.